Here is a great lesson from Islam for what nowadays we are plagued with in Africa, the Gambia included, the phenomenon known as the backway phenomenon or backway syndrome. It is very inhuman. The suffering is untold. The losses is great for Africa, particularly, but for the whole world. Thus, it is responsibility of both the Western world to which this migration is targeted and the South, where we come from, that human rights is respected, human dignity is respected, that justice prevails, that we do not treat each other as superior and inferior or human and subhuman, that we do not exploit one another in ways that will warranty one group or people suffering unnecessarily, being victims and having to expose themselves to certain hazards. No. We need to show respect to one another and treat one another equitably. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. In Islam, the whole world, the whole earth belongs to Allah. And wherever you find your freedom to worship, you find your freedom to live in dignity, you should have the right to move. The Hijrah teaches us this and many other lessons. But perhaps another most important lesson that the Hijrah teaches is that real migration is not moving from one place to the other, but is moving from evil, is moving from indiscipline, is moving from ignorance, is moving from disease, is moving from destitution, poverty, into the light of guidance, into the light of knowledge, into the light of justice, into the light of peace, into the light of equality before Allah, into the rights of righteous behavior. Al-Hijrah, man hajara ma naha Allahu anhu, is what Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has taught us. Real migration is to go away from whatever Allah has prohibited. Yes. Real migration is to migrate from that which is unbecoming. Then we need to relearn most of our lessons, if not all. Yes. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Having said that, this is by way of a reminder, an introduction to this program and a recapitulation. Yes, our original intention was to speak today about Yawm al-Ashura and its virtues. For the month of Muharram, we will remember, is amongst the sacred months. Allah says, إن عدة الشهور عند الله 12 شهرا يوم خلق السماوات والأرض منها 4 حرم. That's the number of months with Allah are 12. This was decreed from the day that He created the heavens and the earth. Yes. and designated time for our cosmos, our universe. He made the number of months 12. And amongst these 12, he says 4 he has also designated as sacred. Yes. Dhul Qa'dah, Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram. Dhul Qa'dah is the 11th month of the Muslim year. Dhul Hijjah is the 12th, and Muharram is the 1st. And then you have Rajab, the 7th. These are the 4 months designated for purposes that we hopefully, inshallah, will talk about another time as the sacred months. Muharram, thus, is a sacred month, the beginning of the year, which has the most important day again as the day of Ashura. Rasulullah ﷺ taught us concerning Muharram and the day of Ashura that أفضل الصيام, that the best fasting بعد Ramadan, after Ramadan, after the month of Ramadan, is Shahrullah al-Muharram, is fasting in the month of Muharram. Yes, that is how important it is. وأفضل الصلاة, and the best of Salah, ritual prayer, بعد الفريضة, after the obligatory 5 daily prayers. Salatul Layl is the extra prayers that the Muslim makes in the darkness of the night. Yes, the nawafil of the night, at-tahajjud, the best. For that you do away from the eyes of human beings, in the privacy of your home, only between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is the best after the obligatory prayers. It's like fasting nawafil extra in Muharram is the best fasting after the obligatory fasting in Ramadan. And concerning Ashura, the teachings abound. Great things happen during this day of Ashura. But in Islam, the chief and most important reason for marking the day of Ashura is the hadith narrated by the illustrious Sahabi, Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of the Messenger, radiyallahu anhuma, who said, when Rasulullah arrived in Medina, he discovered that the Jews would fast this particular day, the day of Ashura. And then he asked them, what is the purpose of your fasting this day? He knew it better than them, but he asked them to teach us again how to seek knowledge. Then they said, this was the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved his prophet Sayyidina Musa and his people, the Bani Israel, from the tyranny of Fir'aun in Egypt. And this was the day that Allah saved them and the people of Bani Israel, and Fir'aun and his forces drowned in the sea. And Sayyidina Musa made it a tradition to give thanks whenever this day would come, that he would fast. And we fast because of that, to give thanks to Allah, as Sayyidina Musa did. Upon this, Rasulullah ﷺ commented, for he knew this was real, it was true. He said, نَحْنُ أَحَقُّ وَأَوْلَى بِمُوسَى مِنْكُمْ. We have more in common and are most worthy of Musa than you. Then he fasted the day and instructed the Sahaba to fast. Yes. Rasulullah ﷺ is teaching us here more than one, but one particular fundamental lesson, that spiritual ties and spiritual bonds between human beings are truly stronger and more powerful and higher in the sight of Allah than physical bonds, that is, blood relations, important as those are. The Jews ethnically were closer to Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, but spiritually, because they had at that time already changed so much of the message of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam and altered, tampered with much of the original message of Sayyidina Musa alayhi salam, that they needed to receive messengers and prophets to make corrections that culminated in the coming of the final messenger, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whose message will remain forever uncorruptible. Even though people may be corrupt in their ways, the message will be there for reference, to bring them back and to show them that you have left the way. Rasulullah said, we are closer to Musa because we follow the teachings of Sayyidina Musa. As we have received the same teachings, a lot more than you do. Yes. We are closer to Musa than you. That whatever he genuinely practiced is what we have come to confirm, or whatever you have altered is what we have come to correct and take to perfection. Add a lot more to it. Complete the message. And Rasulullah did not only stop there, but he instructed us, his followers, the Muslims, that let our practices differ from those of the Jews and the people of the book, that we are not copycats, we are not copies, no, but we are people who will make corrections and improve. Yes. We have our own original ways. So that he instructed those who would fast the day of Ashura, it is a sunnah, it's not obligatory, that don't fast only the day of Ashura, but also fast the day before. That's the Tasu'a, the 9th. And or the day after, the 11th. But most particularly, as he has said, لَإِنْ أَشْتُ إِلَىٰ قَابِلٍ لَأَصُومَنَّ التَّاسِعَ, that the 9th and the 10th most accurately his sunnah alayhi salatu wasalam, and not only to fast that one day. And he did not stop there. He also informed us of the virtues and the blessings and the rewards for fasting this particular day, especially together with the 9th, the Tasu'a. Yes. That one who fasts this day for the sake of Allah will have all their sins of the past year expiated. Just one day will expiate the sins of a whole year, the past year. Then, as we have said before, in giving reminders, let us make the best use of these opportunities that we are given. Allah has chosen certain periods of the year, certain months, like Ramadan, certain days, like the day of Ashura, to bestow upon us his special favors and blessings upon these days, so that worship on these days bring rewards that are much greater than worship during any other time besides these days and periods. These are Allah's blessings. Yes. There are times of virtue and days of virtue, during the rewards are redoubled more than any other time. Ashura is one of these days. So therefore, fast if we can, engage in good deeds, make dua, and keep away from acts of disobedience to Allah, so that we will be blessed. Yes. Man amila صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون. Yes. I'm afraid we are running out of time. We will not have time after all to go into the details of all that we had wished to say on this particular topic and issue on this particular day. But let us remember the day of Ashura, this Monday, inshallah, is a day of fasting, is a day of thanksgiving, is a day of dua, is a day of remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and making istighfar and keeping family ties strong and going back to the Preston Sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu salam and making resolutions to remain steadfast with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help and support upon his worship and upon the Sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu salam until we meet our Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala after long life, good health and well-being, prosperity by the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. Your brother in Islam, Ibrahim Saidi, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sallam ajma'in walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.